That's the thing. You're never fucking sure. We're never sure. I don't even know. Like, this is live right now. I don't even know if we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Keyboard Warriors, presented by RepTheWarriors.com. My name's Eddie Law. That's Red Kirby. That's Jesse Rubacava in the darkness outside. Actually, he's outside by the beach, so this is lucky motherfucker. But obviously, welcome to the post UFC 251 like current everything shutting down again show. Obviously, this last weekend, honestly, the card overall was pretty solid. I enjoyed it. It pretty much went how we saw it going, but we'll start off with the main controversy of the entire night is Max Holloway losing his the rematch against Alexander Volkanovski, and the scoring being fucking wild. The only round I think that they were like debating was the fifth round. Like all the other rounds, all the judges like agreed on, right? So
they had a 2-2 going into the last round, basically, right?
Which I don't understand. I don't get that. I thought it was pretty clear Max Holloway won that fight. What'd you think, Jesse?
Well, I kind of want to hear Fred's take on this because I know Fred is a very much guy that loves the Pride era of the last round, weighs more heavier than the first few rounds. So in my eyes, I would assume that Fred thinks that Max Holloway lost this fight, seeing as how towards the back end of the fight he started taking a lot more damage and not looking as sharp as he did in the first 2.5 rounds, I would say. Now, to me, I had a 2-2 going into the last round. I know a lot of people see that as contentious, but I think that third round is very debatable. If you have a debate about how Max won that third round, I'll listen and I could see your way. But the way I saw it on Fight Night, I saw it 2-2. And then, Volkanovski won that fifth round. So that's how I saw it.
Oh, boy. All right. Fucking Jesus, I was going to give you a little credit there at first when you first started opening your mouth, but then you took it right downhill real fucking fast like you always do.
Thank you.
Where do I start?
I'm consistent.
So, let's just make it fucking. Let's get one thing clear here. You think Volkanovski won the fight?
What are we talking about here? Are we talking about pride rules? Are we talking about the way it's supposed to be scored?
Shut the fuck up, Jesse. Jesus Christ, you know what we're talking about. God damn it! Now the fact that you got to do that means you're full of shit. Everybody with the goddamn eyes in their head knows that Max Holloway won that fucking fight. Stop it with the listen. I thought Max won the first fucking fight. So you cocksuckers know that I think he won this fucking fight, for fuck's sake. I don't know. Look, I do hate bitching about judging because when you've been watching the sport for as long as we have, it's just one of those things, right? To be fair, I've seen worse decisions. I wouldn't call it a robbery. Like if I'm keeping it a buck, I wouldn't call it egregious. I realize the fight was close. I do hate the 10-point must system. I do like open scoring, but Jesus, you fucking shitbird ass fuck loser, just because fucking Volkanovski turned it on the fifth round does not mean that I think that weighs heavier than him getting his little short, funny fucking, what is he, Austrian ass knocked down in the first and second round. How in the fuck does he get knocked down in 2 rounds and it's debatable on whether he won those rounds or not?
Well, no. I'm not saying he won those 2 rounds. I'm saying it was 2-2 going into the fifth round. So, look, Fred. I think the point you're trying to make is how does somebody who gets knocked down twice in 2 rounds not get put into a situation where they're going into that third round down? What is it? 10-8, 10-8, right? Those first 2 rounds should have been scored very differently than just 10-9s. And then the last 2 rounds, or the next 2 rounds, he barely wins them by barely little margins, and it's still considered a 10-9 round. This is what I understand about what. Like, I don't understand how people can argue the point of, well, it was razor close. Well, no, because if you score it, he got knocked down in the first round. That should probably be an automatic 10-8. It shouldn't be a 10-9, or it should be a half point or something to make it different from these razor thin like, by 1 or 2 strikes, he wins the round, and that has the same amount of weight as him getting knocked out in those first 2 rounds.
Yes, for sure. I don't necessarily think that those first 2 rounds were 10-8 rounds, but I'll tell you this, not all 10-9 rounds are created equally. You're goddamn right about that. Like, I could win the round and low-key beat the fuck out of you and it'd be 10-9, and then you could win the round and it'd be fucking razor thin and you still get the same 10-9. That's a little fucked. Not to mention that sometimes the judges just be snoozing in general and their 10s and their 9s are fucked anyway. Like, they don't know what the fuck they're fucking looking at or doing. I don't know what the fucking problem is, but again, how in the fuck did Max Holloway not win that fucking fight? I mean, yeah. Okay, listen, I know I'm the guy that says you got to beat the champ to beat a champ. Well, remember this, cocksuckers. I feel like he never beat the champ. So for all me, Max was and still is the cocksucking featherweight champion. Fuck off.
Eddie, tell me this. Do you feel like Max made all the improvements he could have made in this fight? Because to me, it seemed almost like a carbon copy of the first fight, where there was a good amount of action in the first half of the fight, and then Max like slowed it down, and like it would almost seem like he gave away the last few rounds, right? Like, because he thought he had it in the bag, he didn't have to push so hard, and he fell into the same trap. And I feel like Max Holloway is a guy that can push the pace and really put it on Volkanovski. As we saw, he knocked him down in the first round and the second round. And I feel like he could have kept doing that. And it just seems like either Volkanovski really hits that hard and made Max Holloway change his style in the middle of the fight, or Max really got into his head that he's like, I've got 3 rounds won. I don't really need to push it that hard.
Look, man, he addressed the leg kicks like I thought he would, for the most part, right? Like, he was either, whenever Volkanovski threw that leg kick, he would step back. I mean, he might have checked a couple. He ate quite a bunch again, but not as many as last time. He would step back, whatever he had to do, but he didn't have to like switch stances very much like he did last time. I thought he addressed that pretty well. Look, man, I had it going 3-1 going into the 5th. So could I see Holloway possibly thinking I got this in the bag, I could just cruise the rest of the way? Yeah, I can see that happening. It's one of the reasons why Aldo, before the fight on Saturday, we have been telling people like I'm done with split decisions. I'm done with decisions. I gotta finish fights now. Might have to be the same with Max Holloway. That's 2 in a row that he probably, like, the first one, like, I'm not 100% sure like Fred is that he won the fight, but I was edging towards Max Holloway in that first one. And this one, absolutely, Max Holloway won that fight. Like, absolutely. There's no question in my mind. I was sitting there going, all right, cool. When they started announcing the scores and they started announcing it split, the split style, I was like, get the fuck out of here. They're about to screw Max. As soon as I started reading it like that, I'm like, they're gonna screw Max. Because it should have been unanimous for Max. Should have been unanimous, no question about it.
Look. Shout out to Volkanovski, because I'm not blaming Max for the later rounds. I'm giving Volkanovski his due. I think he adjusted. I do think he's a bad little motherfucker. I just think Max won the fight. Mm-hmm. I don't want to take everything away from Volkanovski. He did look good in the 5th round. But here's my problem with the fight, right? Real talk. Volkanovski never had Max in any sort of trouble. And Max may have not had Volkanovski in deep trouble, but he did knock him down a couple times. He was landing harder, more accurate shots on him for most of the fight. Volkanovski needed a knockdown, a submission attempt, something to really hurt Max to win that fight in my eyes, and he never got it. Just edge out a couple rounds. That just don't do it for me. But in all reality, that's not how it works. It is the 10-9 must system, so fair enough. I just really don't like that system because of fights like this. I feel like somebody can kind of pull off 3 horse shit rounds and then get the fuck beat out of them in 2 rounds and win the fight, which for all of me is just bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I think we all watched that fight, and I think when most people watch fights, we score them like the old Pride style, right? We're watching the fights at the house, fucking drinking, getting stoned, eating chicken wings. We're not, some of you fucking jerk off nerds are out there sitting there with your fucking notepad at home, 10-9, like somebody gives a fuck about your scorecard. But most of us normal people are just watching the cocksucking fights and enjoying it. And then at the end, you go, I think X or Y fighter won, because you're judging the whole fucking fight. That's how most of us do. I think everybody that looked at the fight like that thought Max won. That fight ends and you're like, okay, Holloway won. It was a little close. 5th round got a little dicey, but that was Max's fight. And then, of course, the judges pull their fucking bullshit. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, well, yeah. Like I said, what are you going to do? And you got to hand it to Holloway for being a fucking stand-up guy and handling it the way he did.
Well, Fred, I will be sending you my scorecard, and then you can argue about it. I'm just joking. Anyway, right. look, Fred. I agree with you. I think I saw it 2-2 going into the last, but I could totally see how at the end of that fight when they said it's a split decision, I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I could see it going, Volkanovski, but I mean, it definitely could have, they could have scored it Max's way, or But when they started, like you said, when they started saying the split decision, I was like, ooh, like they're really gonna give Volkanovski this win off a split decision. Like,
all bullshit aside, Jesus. When they said that Volkanovski won the fight, did you know it was going to be a shitstorm? Regardless of what you thought, did you know? Did you? Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. Like the fact that even if you thought Volk won, you knew the rest of us were going to lose our shit. I think that speaks for itself. Like we all knew when they said Volkanovski, everybody, if there was a fucking crowd, I tell you what, Volkanovski better thank the Corona God. It wasn't because it would have sounded like a fucking herd of goddamn cows in that fucking place.
So many boos that everyone would have cut the Rona just off the booze.
You know what? And that's the thing, Fred. I think you have it right in saying that there was nothing that Volkanovski did that you can point to that you could say that was the most damaging shot, or that was the thing that he did that hurt Max the most. Like Eddie said, yeah, he did. Max did absorb some leg kicks, but he didn't have to change his stance. He didn't have to do a lot of the things that he had to do in that first fight where he came out much more damaged. This, I thought about it is a lot of the judges see what happens at the last, the last minute of the fight and the way the fighters look at the end. And the way Max looked at the end of this fight, he looked like he took more damage than Volkanovski did. Even though the stats, if you look at them, they're pretty damn close. I mean, like people that dig into the statistics of this fight, I mean, these guys were right within each other by like 1 or 2 punches. Right. I mean, it was a close fight.
Right. All right. Let's catch up on some comments here before we move on. What's up, guys? As we in this bitch, hope everyone's good. Everyone's alive, man. So far, so good. Who's your loser of the weekend? How's it not? Roman, don't know the rules, Bogotov. How do you fucking knee a guy in the goddamn First of all, it was like 2 or 3 dick kicks in that fight. That was that one, right? Yeah. And then it was like a knee to the fucking chest. Oh, no, not chest. The head. Grounded. Yeah, the head. Yeah, it was knee to the head to a grounded opponent. That is on some Greg Hardy shit. Except Bogotov's been fighting a lot longer than Greg Hardy has. So it's kind of fucking weird to see. But yeah, that's what happens.
Listen, I don't want to be a racist here, but the fucking Bogotov, those Russians ain't nothing nice, Jack.
He was all offended that they stopped the fight too. Christian says not a robbery. Hey, look, fair enough. Otis, who's your winner of the weekend? How's it not? Jiri Prochaska for the stellar knockout debut. Talk about breath of fresh air. We're gonna talk about that. Yep.
Yeah.
Max won. He's the aggressive drop Volkanovski twice, but it was very close. There you go.
That's it right there in a nutshell.
I mean, look. Like Fred said, this shouldn't be a debate, right? The Volkanovski got dropped twice. He didn't do anything to Max to hurt him or to back him off of him. He didn't knock him down. There should be a way that these fights can be better scored, where something like that is different than just squeaking by a round.
Here's the thing. We've been saying that for how many years now? Fucking forever, right? When are we going to get better judging, better scoring? What is the goddamn holdup?
Joe Rogan becoming the UFC president?
Well, look, I think realistically it's a very complicated thing. Look, here's the deal. Jesus, I think the idea of half points is a great idea. The problem is if these fucking dickheads can't utilize the regular points, how in the fuck do we think they're going to – that's just like complicated tenfold. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you already got incompetent shitbirds that can't just give the right fucker the round. We don't need to necessarily throw in fucking half points, although I think that's the right thing to do. It's just, I don't know. I think you need a lot better training. These judges, a lot of them are 172 years old. They were fucking judging Floyd Mayweather fights in the fucking late 90s. We need these fights to die off. We need young fans of the sport to get in those positions that really kind of know what the fuck they're looking at. And quite frankly, I think the judges should be in the back, watching on a monitor in a room with fucking no DC,
No distractions.
no Rogan. Yeah, watching the fight on fucking mute, no distractions, a high def fucking camera. The fact that they're still by the cage is fucking stupid. I mean, there's a fucking cage obstructing your view. We have the best views in the house every fucking time. That's a fact. We're watching fucking 1080p. You can watch even after the round ends. You know what I'm saying? You get to see those slow-mos a little bit. Maybe in real time, as a judge, you thought that jab landed. But when they show it in fucking super slow-mo and you see it come that close to the guy's face and it doesn't land, you're like, oh, shit. No, he didn't. Like,
yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it. But here's what I'll say to wrap up the fucking Max Holloway thing.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been a better loss for him to take. Because I think the people who really matter, the real community, we all give him that win. The only thing that sucks is he ain't going to get a pay-per-view taste unless they do the trilogy or whatever in his next fight because he won't be champion. But I think most of us, we're going to look at Max as the uncrowned champ in his next fight. And Volkanovski's going to have a lot of proving to do.
Now, I don't know how current this clip is, but I know I saw a clip this last week, I think yesterday, the day before, of John McCarthy talking about how, like, I wrote the rules and they're not following them. Like, as far as judging goes. Like, I wrote that shit and they're not. I think that was what it was about. Someone in the comment section, if you guys saw that shit, let me know. But the other thought, what?
No, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, because I was about to switch. I'm about to change it. I thought Max was something different.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I think this just opened the door wide the fuck open for a move to 55 for Max Holloway, and I think that's the move. Move up to 55. Why not? You're already gonna try and take on the Khabib fight on like fucking week notice or whatever it was. Like back in the day, why not move to 55?
Well, let me jump right the fuck in and disagree with you, Eddie.
All right,
because you just beat the best guy at 45. Just because the judges are incompetent, he went to 55 and he lost to Poirier.
Right.
Which, don't get me wrong, Poirier's a bad motherfucker, but Poirier's not even the best. If you lose to Poirier, you can hang it up with Khabib. And listen, I know all fights are different. Max might land the Jorge Masvidal on Khabib if they fought, but all things being equal, I don't think his future is too bright at 55. I just think 45 is perfect. He's a big 45er.
Yeah.
He's late, and I still think he's the cocksucking best. I don't give a shit.
I agree with you.
I think he won both those fights. I mean, I think the first fight was the way that Max won this fight, or in my opinion, I think is the way that Volkanovski won the first fight. Okay, so like maybe everybody's right and they gave the right guy the fight, and I'm just hung up on the fact that Max was a 13 fight champion or whatever. I feel like when you're a prestigious champion, maybe I should add that into my little caveat.
Yeah.
When you're a prestigious champ, you've been the champ for 10, 12 fights, whatever the fuck it was, you got to take my belt. If that fight's close, even like this one was, I feel like the belt's got to stay with the home team. You know what I mean? So, but I feel like Max won both those fights. I think at 45, he's still the fucking man. So why go anywhere? I think real talk, they were talking about Yair or Zabit. Boy, I would be pissed if I was one of those guys and I had to fight Max next, because that fucks me out of the title shot more than likely. I mean, I love those guys. I just think Max is too fucking good, man.
I'm with you. All right. God says Jujin will sketch the whole card. Rose won via split. Thought she had the first two in the bag. She should have won that by unanimous. I tell you who got robbed. Capoeira dos Santos. No way possible. Muslim Saudi Cup won that. I agree with that one too. Oh shit. Joey says my Hawaiian brother won that fight. Midget with accent needs to FedEx that belt to Max. His motherfucker. Bro, what are you doing? He's on Twitter. Okay, that makes sense. Oh shit, Kairos is in the building. He goes, yeah, it ain't Volk's fault though. Yeah, fair enough. Volkanovski looked better toward the end to try and save face, but didn't win, in my opinion. The bullshit he said in the post-fight interview made me say Volkanovski could sit on his Vegemite sandwiches. Yeah, well, look, I don't know. Volk, oh, this motherfucker. Volk, hashtag not my champ.
I ain't mad at Volk. I get it. I mean, he got
his fault.
He got to run with it. He fought a good fight. I just, from my POV, he lost that fucking fight. That's all. Like, but I it is what it is. He got the win. He got to run with it and talk his shit. So
yeah.
I get it.
Kairos goes, Max better not go to 55. Fair enough. I just, I thought the doesn't fight shows that Max doesn't belong in lightweight. Again, that was a short notice fight too, right?
And I don't think it shows that he doesn't belong there because, like you said, short notice fight, and he took the dude like all 5 rounds, right? I think it was a main event, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that Max would be fine at 55. I'm just hung up on him not being done at 45. Like,
sure,
fuck Volkanovski, Jack. Line up the third. If I'm Max in my team, I'm like, fuck that. I want the trilogy. Ask the people. Like, the homeboy that win that fight, y'all can give him the fight, but goddamn it, I want that fight back. Like, y'all got to, at the very least, he got to beat me again. Goddamn it,
at least one more time.
He got to give me 5 more rounds. Fuck that. I feel like I won that one.
All right. Oh, here we go. Bellator's back July 24th. There we go. I think we talked about that last week too. But
I've seen that.
Oh, Jesus Christ, wow. Jesse, get off the tracks.
Get
off the tracks. It's not
for our views tonight. Y'all better tune in.
Jesse, you got too much to live for. Get off the tracks. All right. Actually, let me pull up the cards since we're fucking on right now. Here we go.
Yeah, what do you want to do? You want to go to the main event or fucking?
I'm just gonna
yawn.
I'm gonna run real quick through all this shit real quick, and then we'll get to the main card. All right, Davey Grant takes the TKO win over Martin Day in the first fight of the night. Carol Rosa, Vanessa Miller, she had nothing for her. Too short, too small, couldn't figure out how to get inside. It is what it is. Riley Paiva misses weight but beats Zaga Zumagulov, who apparently is a slow starter like Cowboy because he started slow as shit. Ended up getting beat by decision. Marcin Tybura against Maxim Grishin. I didn't care for that fight, honestly. I thought for sure someone should have gone to sleep in that one at that point. Okay, Leonardo Santos gets that win over Roman Bogota because Bogota's an idiot. And then Makwan Amirkhani gets the quick submission win against Danny Henry. I don't know what the fuck that dude was thinking. Then, Muslim Sadikov gets gifted that win over Dos Santos. Volkan Ozdemir. Okay, let's talk about this guy real quick. Yuri Prochaska. Talk about getting some new blood at 205 that we've been waiting for. In there, sticking his face out with his hands down, fucking talking to Volkan. I don't even know if they speak the same language, but talking to Volkan, doing nutty shit that I was just like, Volkan can like take your lights out, right? And then he knocks him the fuck out. Fred, this is what we've been waiting for at 205.
Yeah, and listen, he looked good too. It didn't feel like he got some sort of lucky punch. Like up until the knockout, he was looking good. Like he was looking for that overhand right. He, you know what I'm saying? Like he had kind of landed it a couple times before in the fight. And yeah, a couple things. 205 has been a fucking wasteland forever. I mean, it's been fucking no man's land for a long time. So getting some new blood at 205 is fan-fucking-tastic.
Right.
B, like you said, he's a showboat a little bit. He's a showman. He's fucking dancing around. He's shooting his mouth off and shit. The fact is, people like that shit. It's exciting. It's entertaining. Even if he loses his next fight, at least he built up this sort of fucking hype behind this one little performance. Now, add in the fact that Volkan Ozdemir is a really, really good fighter. And the fact that he did that to him makes you kind of wonder, okay, how good is this dude?
Right.
First off, the matchmakers do know what they're talking about. I give them a lot of shit, but they do know a little something. In order for you to get Volkan Ozdemir as your first fight, somebody knows something.
Right.
Somebody knew the homeboy was pretty good. And then to come in and do that to Volkan Ozdemir, holy shit. I don't want to fucking get too cute. He ain't John Jones ready just yet, but I'll be goddamned if John Jones might just have somebody that gets us interested at 205 for the first time in a really long time. And for that reason alone, whoever the fuck, and I don't even know how to pronounce this prick's name, but whoever the fuck he fights next, I will be rooting for him heavily. I want to see John Jones have an actual competitor at fucking 205 that we get excited about. That would be fucking amazing. If he's not going to go to 205.
Yeah, dude.
Or heavyweight rather.
Right. I want to see. First of all, I don't even know if this Jiri guy knows how good his English is, but I want this motherfucker to do some interviews. I want this dude. I mean, and again, I'm not saying he needs to be Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor is the only one, right? But if we're talking a guy that makes shit interesting before the fight, this Jiri guy, the way he moved, his attitude during the fight, that shit was refreshing and actually pretty fun to watch. So, but here's the one thing I was thinking about too. Or is he another Johnny Walker? I goddamn hope not. Like, one trick pony-ish type of guy. I mean, we'll see.
He didn't look like it. That's the thing. He looked a little different, man. He didn't look. He looked explosive, but he also looked like there was some technique there. Again, it looked like he was looking for that right hand, and eventually he found it. Now that doesn't mean that he's not Johnny Walker 2.0. but it didn't particularly look like it though.
Right. And then Brando says Jesse's on the tracks waiting for Hancock to save him, or he's with the Doc. He's with Doc trying to reach 88 miles an hour. Jesse, you alive? You didn't get hit, did you?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay, good. This dude. All right. Jiri is fun as fuck, but I worry he's another Johnny Walker. Jesse, do you think Jiri's another Johnny Walker?
I saw the knockout. I didn't see the fight, so I mean, I think it's too soon. I mean, it's one fight in the UFC.
Well, you don't give Johnny Bones out that.
Right. But I'm saying like a lot of people are putting a lot of hype behind this kid.
Sure.
But you know what? Like we've seen fighters with less talent and less finishing ability get pushed to the front very quickly. You know. So I mean, like you guys are saying, we need fresh blood at 205. So might as well usher him to the top, give him a top 10 guy, and see what happens, man.
Right.
And honestly, just to wrap this up, if this prick if he does turn out to be the real deal and he continues to fight like this, nightmare matchup for John Jones. And I love John, but at this point in his career, fucking fighting all lackadaisical with his hands down, being all cute the way he does, prick like this come out and knock the dog shit out of John Jones and surprise the fuck out of him. I think a guy like this is not good for John Jones at this point in his career. John better hope that this guy's not the real deal.
Right. Jiri versus Corey Anderson.
Love it.
Yeah, why not?
Love it. I mean, you know,
Joey's like Jiri and Walker next.
Actually, that's probably the better bet, and then maybe give him a Corey Anderson or something to get that title shot.
Yeah, man. If I'm Johnny Walker, I don't take that fight for real. All right. Moving on. So that was the feature prelims. Then the first fight on the main card on pay-per-view, Amanda Ribas submits Paige Van Zandt with a slick ass armbar. First, so let's go with the Van Zandt angle first. Okay, never mind. Fred, go ahead.
No. You know, I'm glad you said that because I tell you what, I gotta give it though, PVZ.
Yeah.
In a loss, she's still the way more talked about story and person in this fight.
Yep.
Amanda Ribas looked fucking great. Ribas, however the fuck you pronounce it. Fucking you lose the R with the Portuguese, whatever. She looked fantastic. And I mean, I know again, some of the fucking fight nerds out there are giving her credit, but most of us are caught up on the fact that Paige Van Zandt is probably on her way to Bellator and that she lost and the fucking OnlyFans jokes and the whole fucking most of it. Like, I'll give her this, man. She's still so popular that her losing is the story, not Amanda Ribas winning, which is fucking interesting to me. Paige Van Zandt is not as good as we thought she was. She landed that cute little kick on fucking Beck Rawlings. She got the win against, what was it, Felice Herrig back in the day when it actually meant a little something. Right. But she wasn't that good. And Amanda Ribas is apparently very good. It is what it is, man. The Paige Van Zandt story. I don't blame the UFC for doing it. I don't blame them for promoting her the way they did. They can't help it that she lost some fights. It is what it is, man. It's the Sage Northcutt deal, but it got stretched out a little further. She was better looking than she was a fighter, so Bellator it is.
Right. And then Amanda Ribas we knew it was gonna happen. We're not surprised. I think that's why we're talking about Paige Van Zandt more. Is that we're not surprised that what happened to her. So yeah. All right. Any thoughts on Bellator there for Paige Van Zandt, Jesse?
No, I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean, Fred's being a little unkind, I think, saying that she's that much trash. I mean, she's a decent enough fighter that I think even if she went to like Invicta or any of those other companies, she'd do something. You know, she'd be a top contender. But yeah, I mean, I just don't see how the UFC could do anything with her, and give her like easy layups. You know. Like the UFC is like just all killers. Eventually, all these girls are just gonna end up, surpassing Paige. I think it's a good move for her to go somewhere else. Maybe not Bellator, maybe Invicta, maybe Risen. Who knows? Like something, something where they can give her something that's on her level. Let's say.
Yeah, no. On Twitter when I was tweeting, I was doing live tweets and shit. Somebody said like, no, she's off the OnlyFans. Like off the Bellator, she's off the OnlyFans. Hey. She said she makes more money showing off all the goods. So hey, do your thing. Yeah. Hey, Liam says PV, see you later. Heba should be top 5 in her division. She's a killer. She's gonna get there with
On her
the
way.
skills she has. Yeah. Dana threw that shade too. Yeah, they were talking about. He said something like Paige VanZant should go look at her free agent options. Like basically saying like, see ya. I'm good with Paige VanZant. The Bellator her and McFarlane would be a fun fight. Hebus is a future champ though. I think Hebus is definitely going to be an issue for a lot of people or a lot of girls. Paige is still so young though. She's still in her 20s, so that's true. Oh yeah, Lima Lane McFarlane, the 125 champ. Risen, they would make Paige VanZant fight at 185 or something. Paige VanZant versus what's her name?
Gabby Garcia.
Gabby Garcia, yes.
Yeah, put that on your fucking OnlyFans, PVZ. You'll go to the moon. Crazy.
Right.
So,
right.
So what are we looking at? Paige VanZant and her husband naked against Gabby Garcia.
She's gonna need her. She's gonna need her husband in there with her.
To be fair, I tune into that.
All right. Next fight up. Obviously, I honestly, when I was paying attention, but I was busy and shit. But I was like, holy shit, it's a title fight. It's not a title fight. I could have sworn it was a title fight for a second. But of course, the champion is Zhang Wei Li. So we got Jessica Andrade against Rosa Namajunas in the rematch, and Thug Rose looked like fucking spectacular to me. I thought she won that fight unanimous. Should have been split. Should have been unanimous. But I thought she won that shit. Jessica Andrade went with the old Mike Tyson. Feet planted, only upper body movement, not much as far as footwork goes. But she was just moving, avoiding punches, and then going body to head. And it didn't work out. She was literally fighting basically just for the knockout. Fred, what did you think of Rose's win?
I mean, for all of me, this is what the first fight should have looked like. This is what Rose was on her way to winning the first fight, kind of just like this for all of me. She took that weird slam, got knocked out, and things got a little weirdy-beardy. But look, Jessica Andrade is going to land some shots. Rose is the better striker. Rose can take a good punch. I will give Jessica Andrade this. She fucked up Rose's face at the end of the fight.
Oh, yeah, badly.
Some big punches, and Rose's face was fucked at the end of it. But I think that Rose definitely won the unanimous. For all of me, like I said, man, this is what the first fight should have looked like. I think that even with the win for Andrade the first time, this fight kind of sums up that Rose is better. Like, she's the better overall fighter. They can fight 10 times, and Rose is going to win 7 or 8 of them. Like, Jessica Andrade is powerful. She's strong. She's tough. So, on any given night, she's going to land that weird fucking slam or strike that knocks Rose out. But generally speaking, this is how this fight looks if they fight 100 times.
100%. So, all right. So as far as what's next with Rose, Jesse, you give her the title shot against Zhang Wei Li?
No.
Really?
I wasn't impressed by Rose. I was expecting her to look a lot better.
God damn, Skip! What the fuck?
No. And here's the thing. Like Fred said, the first fight, she was looking great. She was looking like she was going to knock out Andrade, right? Like she was just looking good. It had one mistake. In this fight, I feel like she could have put a stamp on this fight and ended the fight instead, if what you guys alluded to. I mean, her face was messed up at the end of that fight. And it seemed like she ran out of gas in that last round, and I just feel like that's a little bit dangerous, because the current champ has a lot of pop, is very fast, and so if Andrade was able to do this amount of damage to Rose, I worry that this version of Rose, who is honestly, I could say that maybe she's probably just a little rusty. She hasn't been in the octagon since last year, right? I think was her last fight. It was against Andrade, right? So, maybe in her next fight, she'll look a lot better, a little bit more refined. But I feel like Rose could have looked a lot better in this fight. Had she finished the fight, I would definitely say she gets a title shot. But I think she needs one more just to knock off the rest of the rust and really get herself in peak performance for the champ.
All right. We'll catch up on the comments here real quick. Oh, Jesus. How did Pat Barry get Rose? That, sir, would be the lot. How do you go ahead? Go ahead, Fred, because I don't know what to say.
When she was 16.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, ask Drake how he does it.
He got her young, Jack, like all Neanderthals get the hot ones.
He got her young, and it's just it got weird, and people still talk about that. So I don't know.
To be fair, Pat Barry's not the worst looking guy. It's not like I mean, I kind of get it. Like it's not the worst matchup in the world. To be fair, like
No,
he's a good guy too. He's a nice dude.
He just,
Yeah.
he set it up. He put the setup. He set the whole thing up pretty good.
Listen, all things being equal, I'd rather bang Pat Barry than Travis Brown. You understand what I'm saying to you? So,
there you go. All right. Right. Rose was saying, "Who you got?" I'm going. Who you? Wow.
Zhang. Right now, Zhang.
I thought I'd have an easier time saying this.
Wait, yeah, I have no idea. I have no clue. I've thought about that fight since this fight, and I have no idea. I have no idea. That's a fantastic fight, though.
Well, do you guys at least see my point? I was thinking that Fred was gonna, eviscerate me here on my take, but it sounds like Fred might see my point a little bit, where Rose just didn't seem like the Rose that we're used to. Like it just seems like she needs to knock off a little bit more rust before. I think we'd all be much more willing to say that Rose would win that fight if we had seen her, KO Andrade in this fight, right? Or am I reading the room wrong?
Yeah. Hey Zeus, you're reading that fucking sea air must be getting to your brain. You're reading the room wrong, baby. Like I thought Rose looked great. I think Andrade is a fucking beast, man.
Yeah.
So like I don't, the fact that she didn't finish her doesn't really bother me. She fucked her up. She took it to her. She didn't pull a Usman on her, which we'll get to in just a fucking moment. So I thought Rose looked good. I mean, might she need another fight? Possibly. There's a debate there to be had. But also, if they lined her up for the title tomorrow, I think all of our panties get wet immediately. And it's not like Rose is some crazy underdog that doesn't got a chance in the world or no shit. I mean, we've seen, way, way bigger underdogs going into title fights than Rose would be against Wei Lee. So,
sure.
I
don't know.
Eddie,
I think
Eddie looks like they're correcting you in the comments. 14, actually, somebody said.
Oh boy, is that real? Well, hey, look, you know what? I didn't do it, so I don't know. Okay, that right there is a felony charge, sir.
Yeah, no shit. We need to get right the fuck off of that topic before we get canceled on YouTube.
we're not friends. We're not friends with Pat Barry. So
yeah, no shit. He just got canceled. Me.
You know who is friends with Pat? Brock Lesnar. I'm not fucking with either one of them, so I don't give a shit. All right. Well, who else we got? Hold up. Hopefully for Rose, it's the United States she doesn't try. Oh, the fight. Yeah. Talking about the championship fight. Okay, moving on to the co-main event of the evening. Oh, no, not co-main. The first title fight of the night. Peter Yan against Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo bringing the leg kicks back, and then he kind of stopped. Like, he made Peter Yan switch stances, but it did bring up the power kick on him. But regardless, ended up finishing Jose Aldo in a weird stoppage, just for the fact that Jose took a whole bunch of shots. I watched it twice. First time was live, obviously, when I was doing live tweets. So it's like looking up, looking down for a second, looking up. You know what I mean? Back and forth. I thought Jose Aldo took a shitload of unanswered shots, like a shitload. And when I said that on Twitter that night, people were kind of like, "No, he was defending himself," and I was just like, "Dude, covering your ears isn't defending yourself like intelligently. That's just covering up." So I thought it was fucking weird. But regardless, new champion Peter Yan looked phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to Aljo versus him. What'd you think of the fight there, Fred?
Man, I would like to give fucking Jose Aldo a silent round of applause here.
Yeah.
Because I thought he, look, man, I'm a lazy cocksucker, so I didn't go do the actual research so I could pull out the cute little stats for you. But I would imagine that when Jose Aldo was winning his first title, Peter Yan was still fucking working on his English somewhere. Like, Jose Aldo did this for a long time, man. I mean, Peter Yan was supposed to win this fight. The fact that Jose went 5 rounds, brought the leg kicks back, gave it one last hell of a try to win that title. He came up short because, goddamn it, this ain't the WWE. But, shout out to Jose, man. He came out. He looked good. He fought like he said. He was looking for the fucking finish. He got right in there. He stood in the pocket. He traded with a much younger, faster, stronger fucking fighter. I mean, Peter Yan had all the fucking, tools in his favor in this fight. Jose's fucking old. He's been beaten to shit. you know, it is what it is, man. If Jose would have got a lucky punch and got the knockout, he probably would have lost the belt in the next fight. Like, we all know what time it is. Maybe he would have retired with the belt. This was Jose's swan song. You know, maybe it wasn't his last fight, but this was definitely his last hurrah at a title. And quite frankly, he looked all right, man. Like, again, this is realistically what was supposed to happen. If you're a big Jose Aldo fan, I don't think you got nothing to hang your head over. And Jose himself, you know, hell of a career, man. If he never fought again, he looked fantastic.
Right. Going off the comment section here. Hold up. Late stoppage, terrible cornering. I blame more the ref than anybody, but you're right. Jose took a million unanswered shots. I was screaming horrible late stoppage. Right. So okay. So I wasn't wrong. This is the way I see it.
Oh yeah.
Like,
it was.
Like a lot of people on Twitter were just talking shit like no, it was a good stoppage. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. What are you playing UFC 4, asshole? Like, no. Aldo took a bunch of fucking shots that he didn't need to take. So, you know, it just fucking sucks. Hope Dana learned his lesson. Don't get fighters coming off a lost title shot. He's not gonna give a fuck about that. But you know, I get what you're saying. Poor Aldo, the stoppage was bad. Oh yeah, and Ashley the MMA, I didn't realize she was on here. What's up? So yeah, regardless, I mean, like Fred, like you said, if he don't ever fight again, that dude's a legend no matter what. So
for sure.
As far as up next, am I wrong to think that it should be Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling?
That's the one. I mean, your only debate is Leon Edwards, but I feel like Aljo's just more fresh in our brain. He's got the most recent win.
Leon Edwards?
Leon Edwards is 70.
Oh, what am I talking about? Who else is there?
Oh my God, you're trying to kill Peter Yan already?
I feel like is there somebody else at 45? Who am I missing? Is there somebody else?
35, but who is it?
Jesus Christ.
It's all right. I can't think of who it is.
There's somebody else.
I know who you're thinking of, Fred. He's also the person that whose name gets thrown out there with Aljo. But see, this is the problem, right? Obviously, Aljo's the only answer then, because that's the only guy we could think of.
Fucking Cody, the prick. Fucking Jesus, fucking
Stamen.
No, fucking
Garbrandt.
Garbrandt, yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Cody Garbrandt, yeah. Okay, yeah. No, for fuck's sake.
Look, it's Tuesday, man. We ain't supposed to be on tonight.
Right. Aljo deserves the fight, yes. But Cody Garbrandt's that little, you know, him and Peter Yan are going back and forth on Twitter. And quite frankly, it is kind of a sexy fight. So I hope they don't fuck Aljo and try to go with Cody. But yeah, right. Like Aljo deserves the fight for sure.
Yeah. All right. Aljo Moraes. Everyone wants to see Moraes in there too. Moraes actually tested positive for COVID, and it came out, I think, today or yesterday. His wife tested positive to COVID too. So he's like talking about coming back in October or later on, which, you know, as long as he's healthy and his family's healthy, we're all good on that end. All right. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening, which we talked about already plenty. So it's you know, obviously Alexander Volkanovski keeps the belt and starts. Who did they talk about him fighting next?
Cejudo.
What?
Fuck off with this.
That's not real. Come on, man. Don't fucking do that. Seriously though, real quick, at 45, who you throw at him?
I mean, don't ask me.
Max.
Yeah, like real talk. Yeah. I think Max. I mean, I just really think Max won the fight. I mean, if we're excluding Max, then we can have that conversation. Then it becomes
right.
I don't know. I mean, who do we got? Who would you give him at 45? Like I like Yair, but like I don't think he's quite ready yet. I still want to see Yair and Zabit fight. Let me
give you the next the top
Frank Edgar.
Let me give you the top. No, I'll give you the top. I don't think no. Anyway, let me give you the top five. The 5 ranked guys after Volkanovski. Number 1 is Max Holloway. Number 2 is Zabit. Number 3, Brian Ortega. No. Number 4, Korean Zombie. Korean Zombie.
The winner of that fight, are they still fighting? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Brian Ortega?
Yeah, they're supposed to be fighting soon.
Okay, so the winner of that fight, I guess, is kind of like in the front runner. So does Yair got a fight lined up?
I don't know. Let me find out. I think he actually does.
If not, him and Max Holloway makes a lot of sense.
Ooh,
if they don't give Max the rematch and shit.
Okay, I can't find anything for Yair, so it must not be anything official just yet. But
where's Otis at? Otis will know.
Otis will know. Otis keeps up on all this stuff. Otis says throw in the Korean Zombie. Why not?
I mean, if they don't do the Ortega fight, then sure, and Alexander has to take a fight, and it's not Holloway. I'm down with fucking the Korean Zombie for sure. Matter of fact, I like the Korean Zombie in that fight.
I think wasn't the Korean Zombie that oh, I'm sorry, Eddie.
Go ahead.
Korean Zombie that threw out something on Twitter like, you know, that he wants to break his face or something?
Yep.
So I mean, you know what? I think a lot of these guys, you know, Brian Ortega, Korean Zombie, Zabit, all these guys could probably throw their names in a hat, and any one of those gets picked out. And I think it's an awesome fight for Volkanovski.
Okay, if I remember correctly, Yair versus Zabit is being talked about. I'm pretty sure that's the fight being talked about.
For all of me, you got to do Ortega and the Korean Zombie. Ortega, winner. Korean Zombie's translator. They're, you know, listen, we just can't stand for that.
Yeah. And then, you just can't do it. So to me, you also have Calvin Kattar fighting tomorrow night. And if Calvin could fucking do some crazy shit, you know what I mean?
It won't. 45 is tough right now, so it won't catapult him to the top, but it'll definitely keep him right there in that cut. The problem is he's fighting fucking Dan Ige. And how the fuck you pronounce that person's name? Which is a very tough fight. It just ain't got that sexy name. Actually, it's a horrible fight for Kattar because it's a very tough fight without having that payoff at the end. It's fucked.
It's a tough fight that I argue not a lot of people are gonna watch. So I kind of that really sucks for him because it's about eyeballs. People see you fight and you do something crazy like that. That's huge for you.
I think the only way Kattar wins anything out of winning that fight is if it's exciting. Yeah. And it gets to be one of those, like, you know, Sports Center's top 10 or whatever. You know, like it has to be something spectacular for his name to be thrown up there.
And he has that ability.
Yeah. All right. And then, of course, now let's move on to the main event of the evening. Jorge Masvidal steps in on 6 days' notice against Kamaru Usman. Did pretty well, in my opinion. Did pretty well in the wrestling department until he gassed out, and then it was just the Usman show after that. And I got to hand it to Usman. He didn't get completely outclassed on the feet, but I would love to see what and I hate to put it this way because I know that he keeps saying no excuses, but I would love to see Jorge with a full camp, and you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. But I'm not 100% convinced that he wasn't already training for him. But what'd you think of the fight, Fred?
All right. Well, now I'm going to piss some people off. So preemptively, let me just say, y'all can suck my dick. But for me, this fight, and again, I know it's not exactly fucking apples to apples, but this stylistic matchup feels very much to me like Khabib and Conor. Okay. And I'll tell you what I mean. I still think that Conor can beat Khabib. Like, I know, save your fucking laughs and all that bullshit, but I think that Conor can land that punch to that knee. I do not think that Khabib's striking is very good. I think his striking defense is fucking okay at best. And I think he is open to getting the shit knocked out of him. He's done a real good job of avoiding it, but we'll see with Gaethje. I think you can find his chin, and Conor can knock him out. Obviously, he can also get taken down and mauled.
Right.
I think Jorge has that ability with Kamaru. In the first round, he was low-key lighting Kamaru up. The first few minutes of that fight, you saw the difference in speed, hand speed, just striking ability overall. Like, Jorge was landing on Kamaru at will. Now, Kamaru was very tough. He didn't get rocked. He didn't get shook. He kept his game plan, and he did exactly what the fuck he needed to do to win that fight, just like Khabib did with Conor. But in these situations, I feel like, look, 9 times out of 10, I think Jorge does lose this fight. Just think it's a bad stylistic matchup for him. That being said, I do think that Jorge could win this fight. He just has to land that right. You know, you look what he did to Ben Askren. Look, if he doesn't do that to Ben Askren, this is probably what the Ben Askren fight looks like. Real talk. Like, Jorge's not the greatest wrestler. He's very competent, but if you're a very good wrestler with a huge gas tank and Jorge doesn't fucking sleep you in the first round, you can do this to him. Yeah. But you have to worry about him sleeping you in that first round. I just feel like that's the tell of this tape, regardless of how you cut the cake. Like, you know, I don't give a shit if Jorge had 3 years to train for this fight. He still needs to land a really big strike on Kamaru early, or Kamaru's going to do this to him, period.
Oh, my God. You know, Fred, for some of the times that I just allow you to be, you know, sometimes I wonder what's wrong with you. Maybe you smoke too much weed. You're having too much wine. God. the gigantic difference between the Conor, Khabib, and Usman Masvidal fight is you had one guy take this on short notice, and Conor had quite a long time to prepare for Khabib, and he still couldn't do jack. And he even got knocked down by Khabib from a punch. I think that I think you're right, Fred. I think Masvidal has the ability to win this fight. It just seemed like he ran out of gas way too fast. But even with a depleted gas tank, Kamal Usman found it super difficult to take him down. Super difficult. Couldn't really get him down. When he got him down, couldn't keep him down. Couldn't really do too much to Masvidal on the ground. So I mean, you take what we saw on Saturday, and you kind of do a little bit of mental math here of, Masvidal putting in a legit training camp, his 6 or 8, 12 weeks or whatever he usually takes, and does that. I think we see a completely different fight, and I think we'd all be surprised at how competent Masvidal's wrestling is, because as you saw, I mean, he did everything correctly to defend all those takedowns. I mean, Cabral really didn't shoot that much, honestly, up until he saw that, Masvidal was super tired, and even then he couldn't finish those takedowns. I mean, it's just an amazing performance by Masvidal, in my opinion, on what he was able to do on such short notice. Unfortunately, just the gas tank wasn't there.
Listen, I like Cuban Jesus as much as the next guy, but can you guys fuck off with the gas tank? All right? I don't give a shit if Jorge trains in the fucking deserts of Dubai for 6 fucking months straight. He's not going to have the gas tank of Kamaru. Like, this fight is going to look like that. He's not going to be able to keep that same pace that he had in the first round. It's not going to happen. Kamaru's going to fucking wrestle fuck him, wet blanket him, and he's going to suck his energy out of him no matter how much he trains. Fuck off.
I mean, yeah. And again, when I made my picks for that fight, I said if Masvidal was going to win, it's going to be in the first or second round. It's got to be early as shit. You can't let yourself get tired and get taken down and basically just ground and pound it for the rest of the fight, which was pretty much what happened. But I got to give it to Masvidal. Trained real hard in wrestling, was hard as fuck to take down. So yeah.
Also, though, I will say Jorge, a lot like Max, not quite to Max's ilk, but I don't think he lost a lot coming off of this fight either, though. He didn't get knocked out. He didn't get submitted. He lost the fight, no doubt, but he didn't get made to look horrible. I still think that Jorge's stock is pretty fucking high coming off of this loss.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
Yeah.
So that's not horrible.
Dana had to admit that Jorge's a starter. I think today or yesterday. He had to admit
it did 1.4. Did you fucking pricks hear that?
That's
Jesus
insane.
Christ.
That's insane.
Real talk. You know why that's insane?
Yeah.
Because of how easy it is to fucking pirate these things.
Oh,
I mean, I don't give people. I'll talk about it. I don't give a shit. It's super fucking easy. I won't name names. I'm not a fucking snitch like Brendan. But let me just tell you something, Jack. If you want to find a stream, it's real fucking easy to do. The fact that 1.4 million of us said fuck it instead of just, I could have found the stream, Jack, and I still pay for it.
Yep.
It's a bunch of motherfuckers out there like that. When the cards are weak, I stream them. Suck my dick. Sue me. Allegedly, these nuts. But when they're fucking really good, I pay for them shits because I can't be having nothing go wrong. 1.5 million people paid for that shit during the pandemic. Yeah, he's a star.
Yep. Okay, Otis came through. Says Zombie is scheduled for anyone, neither is Brian Ortega. Make that fight. Zabit is scheduled against Yair Rodriguez. Zabit is scheduled against Yair Rodriguez like August 29th. There you go.
Ooh, nice.
Yep. All right. What else we got here? Where was the game bred knee when Usman was going for the takedown? He waited to the very end to even try, and Usman was ready for it. That's all it was. But I was waiting for it, dude.
Way too gassed for that to be effective.
He was tired as shit.
Lightning only strikes once, man.
Once, yeah.
Right.
At least he did better than Woodley and fuckface or Colby. Yeah. Oh boy, Joey. Masvidal be back and knocks Usman's silly ass back to Nebraska where they fucked their sister ass. You talking about Alabama? He's from Nebraska. I know he went to Nebraska to wrestle. God damn, Joey, what the fuck are you drinking? For real. Like, I talk to this dude every once in a while on Twitter. He's always on some shit. He'll be the first one to tell you he's on some shit. All right. He's a veteran. He's gonna have losses. Very few were finishes. That's what really matters. Yeah, what matters. Yeah,
that's true.
I mean,
I was gonna say, sorry, real quick. I saw something I wanted to put up on here. Go ahead, but while I work on that.
No, I'm saying like you gotta take into consideration all the circumstances going into this fight, and you gotta be impressed at the turnaround that Masvidal has had, right? Like you guys were saying, 1.4 million from being a dude that was, just an aggressive fighter that, had an awesome style. Nobody gave a damn about him, and now to being, probably one of the best selling pay-per-view headliners out there, like barring Connor, barring I would even say he might be even like a bigger draw than John Jones at this point, right? Like I don't remember John Jones really pulling 1.4 million pay-per-views unless it was DC. So I mean, like, it's impressive to see what he's done in such a short amount of time.
John Jones needs a willing dance partner to draw, in my opinion. All right, so what do you think about this? Ben Askren tweeted this a little bit ago. Usman versus Burns, Edwards versus Masvidal, Woodley versus Covington. Put that on the same card, that'd be crazy. But Chas Skelly under him goes Usman versus Burns, Edwards versus Covington, Masvidal McGregor, and Woodley versus Lawler.
I don't think they're going to do Masvidal McGregor. Certainly not coming off a loss that you can just. So I kind of dig what Chaz is saying, but you can just can't. That's not happening.
Sure.
So with that in mind, as much as I might not be a big fan of old Funky Ben, he nailed it.
Yeah,
that's perfect. That is exactly what the fuck should happen. Fight for fucking fight. You got the fucking 3-piece in the soda. We need some clarity in that, and that's a stylistically fun fight too. Because Leon Edwards, you cocksmokers, will actually fucking fight Jorge. I should say no shade to Usman, but he will stand and bang with Jorge. He will give Jorge the fight that he's looking for. So and that just bad blood. I also think that Gilbert Burns is the best matchup for Usman at this point in the division, just stylistically speaking. I think Usman's not going to be able to pull what he did with Masvidal on Burns. Not with that fucking jiu-jitsu pedigree and shit. It's just he's going to have to strike with him, and that's very fucking interesting. And then what was the fucking third fight?
Oh, the fucking
Woodley and somebody.
Woodley and
Covington. Oh,
fucking love it. Nice one. Fucking love it.
That's a nice one.
They're already in talks for that fight, aren't they?
I think so. Makes me that. I mean, Funky Ben is right, dude. That easy matchmaking at fucking 170, dude.
If Covington loses, he should have to have never mind. That's a fucked up thing to say. I'll take it back. I'll tell you guys after the fight, after the show. All right, let's talk about tomorrow night's fights real quick, and then the Saturday's fights. We're not gonna have a show after that.
Wow, you edited yourself. First time.
You know what? That's what happens when you realize you're about to say something a little too fucked up, probably. And I just don't care to fucking deal with that. I don't have a smiley face like Aaron Robbins does to fucking put on hate list. Anyway, all right. First fight of the night for tomorrow night. The prelims kick off at 4 p.m. My time, so it's Pacific Standard Time. It's like 7 o'clock Eastern Time. First fight of the night: Jack Shore against Aaron Phillips. Then Diana Belbita versus Liana Jojua. Jared Gordon, who will have one Paul Felder in his corner because none of his cornermen can make it because they were all Gilbert Burns corner people too. Apparently, Paul Felder is going to step away from the commentary for that one fight, corner him, and then come back. So that'll be dope. Taking on Chris Fishgold is a pretty solid fight. Modestas Baukaskas, that's a fun name, against Andreas. What the fuck is the last names, UFC? And then Ricardo Ramos against Lerone Murphy. John Phillips against Kamzat Chimaev. Now, this
card is making me feel like a real casual because I'm not going to jive talk, y'all. I am like, who in the fuck are these people? I guess I'll find out tomorrow, but what the fuck?
I know one of these fights got canceled. I just don't know which one, so I don't know if Otis knows or not. But I know one of these fights got fucking canceled. I just couldn't fucking find which one it was. Anyway, then on the main card, kicking up at 7. That's 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Abdul Razak Al Hassan, who missed weight today, taking on Mounir Lazez. Molly McCann, who's looking extra skinny. She's no longer meatball. She's stick skinny. Against Taila Santos. Then Jimmy Rivera against Cody Stevens is going to be a solid fight. I think it might even be fight of the night by the end of it. Tim Melly against Ryan Benoit. And that one is a little weird because I don't see many people picking Tim Elliott. And then, of course, the main event, Calvin Kattar against Dan. How do you say his last name? Ige? This motherfucker. All right. And then Saturday night's fights. Obviously, also on ESPN Plus.
Ooh.
Yep, prelim card. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're fucking talking. Wednesday's just playing with our clit, isn't it? Woo!
Wednesday, I'm telling you right now, even if Calvin Kattar does something crazy, a lot of people are gonna miss it. First fight of the night on Saturday is gonna be heavyweights. Carlos Felipe against Sergey Spivak. Then we got David Ramos coming back, taking on Arman Saryukian. Malcolm Gordon is Amir Al-Ghazi.
Hold on.
What?
Go back to Malcolm Gordon and the other cat. Hey, how unknown do you got to be for the UFC to not be able to find either one of y'all's pictures? Like, we don't know who either one of these characters are, Jack.
I got a better one for you. This is Google. Google couldn't find the picture for him.
I don't feel bad. I know who they are.
Well, come on, Fred. When Cyborg went into the UFC, remember her picture wasn't up there for a bit.
Listen to me.
That was the disrespect. That wasn't fucking because they couldn't find it. They were telling her to fuck herself.
Yeah. She was being fucking mouthy.
Seriously. Brett Johns taking on Montel Jackson. That's a solid fight. Joe Duffy coming back taking on Joe Alvarez.
Nice.
Yep. Grant Dawson taking on Nad Narimani.
Fair enough.
Yep. Roman Dolidze against Kadiz Ibragimov. I've seen that dude before. Then in the main card, here's a fun one. Alexander Pantoja against Askar Askarov. We just saw Askar Askarov fight, so dude's fucking solid.
Right.
Ariane Lipsky taking on Luana Carolina. Then here's a fun one. Mark Diakis, however you say his last name, against Rafael Fiziev. That's a solid fight. Then this is a weird one. I thought it was weird when they announced it. Jack Hermanson against Calvin Gastelum.
Weird, but I like it though. That's a good fucking fight. That's a good fucking fight.
Yeah, it's a solid fight. And honestly, Kevin Gastelum wins this one. He's back in the conversation at least, not for a title shot, but at least we actually talk about him. Then in the main event, the rematch, Davison Figueiredo against Joseph Benavidez, in what is probably his 2000 title shot at 125. They're almost like, look, dude, win the goddamn belt so we can shut this bitch down. Hurry the fuck up.
Yeah, listen. If Joe B gets a rematch off this fight, all due respect, Max better get the rematch. And that's all I'm going to say on it. But Jesus Christ, I mean, look, I like Joe B. And he did look good in the first fight. And what was it? I think he called a headbutt. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was a headbutt. He got cut.
Yeah, split him open.
Yeah.
But all due respect, he didn't lose the fight right then. They got in another striking exchange or something. He got thunderstruck. He got
caught.
The headbutt was unfortunate and it was a little fucked, but
yeah,
I think all things considered, he lost that fight. As much as it pains me to say, I think he probably loses this one. I want to see him win. I'll be rooting for fucking Joey, but I don't know, man.
Look, I'm with you. I'm rooting for Joe B, but man, being married to Megan O'Leary can only buy you so many title shots, dude. Like this can't be fucking. Yeah. I'm just fucking around, but still, like there's a talk about that.
I think it'll be close. I do think that Joe's really good, but I just think that fucking how the fuck you say his last name? Figueiredo,
yeah.
He's fucking better. You know what I mean?
Better.
Like he's very good.
Yeah, I think as soon as Joby wins that bet, I'll be like, all right, we're shutting this bitch down. All 25ers to kick Rex or Rising, whatever they're calling it. All right. Ashley says, I wanted Woodley versus Covington for so long now, and now I'm scared Colby's just gonna whoop on Tyron. I'm still gonna watch though.
That's where he is though.
Yeah. Masvidal was a good example of a fight where the guys could make way more sponsorship independently than through UFC. We're actually going to talk about that in a second, the sponsorship thing. Imagine Masvidal getting $200,000 from Popeye's chicken sort of thing. That's back in the day type of stuff. Remember when Schaub used to claim that he was making like $100,000 off of just endorsements or sponsors, and then he had nobody believed him. Like Joe Rogan had to audit his shit live on a podcast and tell people yeah, he makes about $100,000 on this shit.
You mean Joe had to get some sponsors to sponsor him so it could look like that?
Hey man, I wasn't gonna throw shit under the bus like that, but come on. Anyway, he already gave him 3 pieces in the soda. Will this KO will be the dessert? Talking about Edwards Masvidal. Yeah. What else? Okay, Kenneth Berg versus Jorge Gonzalez because Berg had weight cut issues. All right. And is Figgy cleared off COVID? Well, he's gonna have to be in order to make it to the fight. So, all right. Sponsorship really quick. It was announced this last week that Reebok is out. Venom is in. Now, a lot of people were shitting on Venom because it's, Venom's a little corny at times, but they're at least an MMA apparel company, and like I have Venom gloves and shin guards that I use in sparring. Like they're at least an MMA company. Fred, what do you think of this shit?
Yo, y'all ever see that video of that fucking ugly white girl that fucking tastes the soda and she goes fucking like, and then she fucking like does all she does the whole fucking like. At first, when I heard this, I was like, Venom. What the fuck? I was thinking more like Nike or fucking Puma or the fucking like Venom. What
Under Armour? Something.
But the more I thought about it, this might not be a bad idea for a couple reasons. A, look, I don't think that the UFC is ever going to sell their merch in the same way that the NFL and the NBA can. You understand what I'm saying? Like Connor's a big star, but who's really rock? Like Connor don't even wear Reebok. He wears like Dolce and shit. Like it. I don't think people are ever going to be really. You'll always have your fucking dude bros who are fucking wearing, you know, the fight kits or whatever the fuck. But I don't think the UFC is ever going to really sell their apparel to people like that. Like people are. I ain't going out and rock. I love Connor. I'm not rocking his fight kit. Maybe if he had one of the walkout shirts was really dope, I might get it. But short of that, like they're just not going to sell T-shirts and shit like that. So with that in mind, maybe it was a good idea to just go to somebody who can make cool fight gear for the fighters and maybe give them a little bit more of the money, a little bit better taste than Reebok. It's a bigger deal for Venom than it was for Reebok. Reebok's obviously got way bigger fish to fry than the UFC. Where Venom, the UFC is probably their biggest fucking fish on deck. So they become first priority and everything. So, you know, after thinking about it for a minute, all right, fair enough. I mean, it's not quite fucking Nike, so it's definitely not exactly what I expected, but it's probably a better fit than Reebok. What the fuck does Reebok know about it? At least Venom will probably make, you know, fucking the fight gear better. It'll probably fit better for the fighters. It'll probably be more relaxed or more fit. Like Venom knows more about making fucking fight gear than Reebok, period. So, okay. A little weird, but okay.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so I don't know, Jesse, how'd you feel about it? Because I thought, I mean, you know, again, I'm not mad at Venom. Like right off the bat, I was kind of like, what the fuck happened to Nike and Under Armour? At least now I know Under Armour's kind of a mess right now with their own organization. Reebok was always shit. Nike might have been a little too high to shoot for, but I thought there was a possibility. But Venom kind of came out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't think it matters at this point. I mean, we're never going back to the NASCAR style of sponsorship deals and stuff like that for the fighters. So as long as the fighters are getting a little bit more a piece of the pie, you know, which is what they're promising. You know, it is what it is. I mean, you know, a lot of fighters wore Venom gear before and had Venom sponsorships before. So maybe at least Venom will know how to make these fight kits, quote unquote, better, like a little bit more better design and more fitting for each fighter. Maybe we'll get a little bit more originality out of these. So that's all I'm hopeful for. And like you said, I mean, Venom makes actually good gear for, you know, for sparring and, you know, for a lot of athletics. So at least it's going to be decent gear. So we'll see how it all shakes out. What is it, next year, right?
Yeah, I think it starts next year. So Jesus Christ. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, it starts I think next year and everything. Yeah, I mean they make solid like MMA gear and gloves and shit like that, so I think it's all right. And they've already announced they're gonna be paying fighters more, so that's good. I don't know how much more. I don't know how much they're expecting. If it was Nike, I would be expecting like a huge jump. It's Venom. I'm not expecting a huge jump.
Like I said, man, they'll be a big fish to Venom though. Whereas if they did go to Nike, they would have still been small potatoes at Nike. So maybe that's why they did it. Like we'd rather go be the most important thing to somebody than be on somebody's back burner. Right.
They're pretty close to affliction in some of their gear, but I'm sure they'll come up with something better than Reebok. Almost anything we better than Reebok. It's not up to Venom. Reebok give UFC the cash, and UFC decided to split. Oh, really? I'm not optimistic of a much change. And the UFC was Reebok's biggest fish, but besides the classic shoes, what else are they selling? They dropped the ball here. Yeah, well, Reebok, Reebok's stopped sponsoring. They stopped sponsoring CrossFit. They stopped sponsoring like a couple other things too. Those Spartan obstacle course races and shit. Like they're pulling back on a lot of shit, just a lot of it.
I mean, listen, Reebok might not have much, fair enough, but all due fucking respect compared to Venom. Most people don't even know that's a real thing,
right?
Like as far as clothing goes, like Venom, they're like, what the fuck, the goddamn cartoon character?
Yeah. I got my silver fucking gloves with a giant snake on them. People are like, oh shit, they still make Venom gear, and I'm like, yeah, asshole.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Anyway, all right, we're pretty much full hour here. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we get out of here?
Nope, I think we wrapped it up, man. We talked about 3 events, fucking Venom, the whole most of it.
There you go. 2 events, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Wednesday night, Saturday night. It's the reason we're on a Tuesday night. So if you anyone that tries to show up tomorrow night is gonna find the replay on this. We won't have any more shows the rest of this week. So you guys enjoy the events. Unless something fucking insane happens, then I might, maybe I'll jump on and do like a post-fight show. But a lot of busy shit the next couple weeks, so we'll see how this goes. What was I gonna say? Shit. Oh fuck! I could have had something else. All right. Anyway, with all the COVID shit happening, all these lockdowns they're gonna start creeping up again. What's up?
You know what? I just remembered something. I don't know if you can pull it up, Eddie. Go to oh damn it! I forgot his name. The dude that was doing the whole Ali Abdelaziz investigation.
Son of a bitch! I know who the fuck you're talking about. It's not Dan. It's son of a bitch. He calls them Real Fight Stories, and he's like been promising a podcast forever.
I saw him tweet earlier today that he's trying to rally up some money to be able to finish up a story that he's trying to do on Ali, seeing as how Ali just banned ESPN and I think something else from doing interviews with dominance fighters. And apparently I totally blanked on his name. He's saying that it's because ESPN is about to put out a story on
Mike
Ali.
Russell.
So, yes, Mike Russell.
Okay.
So if you look on his Twitter, I think he has it right there where he has his I think his PayPal and something else. So if you guys want to donate to a guy that's actually doing what a journalist is supposed to do, and support a journalist is endeavor into doing a proper story, go check out his Twitter page and donate to the guy. He does good work.
Yeah, Mike Russell does. He does pretty solid work, and him and I got back and forth on DM too, just discussing shit before. And I got a few insights on what he's working on, but I'm not putting it out there because he's working on his project. But it's at Mike Russell MMA. He says the real reason Ali banned ESPN is there is an investigative reporter from the outlet working on the same story I am for the podcast. I have a lot of sources he's done, and he's reached out to some of them. Unfortunately, I might get scooped due to lack of time and resources. Might do a Patreon drive to cover a week off from my essential service day job to afford me the time and income coverage. I need to put out an episode or two. Been getting some DMs asking where supporters of the podcast can donate to the cause, yada yada. Just find him on Twitter at Mike Russell MMA. But this is what he's talking about. All ESPN. Let me see if I can pull the picture. All ESPN MMA, you have been banned from talking to any dominance fighters because you have a reporter who's targeting my champions. Oh, targeting your ass. You need an immediate investigation for corruption today. First of all, it's hilarious that he says you need to be investigated for corruption. Fuck out of here with that shit. This isn't government, fuckface. The government's not looking for you. It's fucking, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Mike's wife has been unwell. The family has had it hard. No, and I've talked to him about that. Liam's right. Oh, geez. Mateo says Mike Cucko has been working on a story for a decade. That's the one thing about Mike Russell. He's been promising this podcast for a long ass time, but I hope he's able to put it out, man. I really do. As far as Ali, man, if this doesn't just give you like the constant shit that he pulls like that, especially like this is like banned from talking to any dominance fighters. If that doesn't give you like a red flag that something's wrong with that motherfucker and there's something that needs to be looked into, this is it. Here's your red flag. Anyway. All right.
I mean, also, like, it's one thing to kind of woof at Ariel Helwani.
Yeah.
It's another to start talking shit to ESPN. Are you high?
Yeah.
Fuck you and dominance, bro. Are you out of your mind? Like, okay, good. We won't interview none of your stank-ass fighters. I don't give a fuck if Conor McGregor himself shits in your golden toilet. ESPN is always going to be ESPN, bro. Like, and if you haven't noticed, that's where the UFC gets aired, dickhead. So they're going to get first dibs on whatever interviews they want.
Yep.
So Ariel, Chael, fucking Paul Felder, anybody that's working with ESPN and the UFC, like you barked up the wrong tree with that one, homeboy. You should have kept your hand towards Ariel. You like calling out the ESPN. You don't fuck ESPN. ESPN fucks you, big dog.
Yeah.
Know your role.
And now that story is gonna come out fucking hardcore now.
And that's the thing. I mean, Eddie, you know about this more than I would, but to everybody out there, I mean, a journalist's job, it just sucks, because you sink in hours to, something that might never be read or people don't even care about. So I understand Mike Russell's plight of trying to get all this stuff put together. So, that's why I wanted to highlight him tonight. The guy is trying his best to put this work out on his own. He's not affiliated with anybody. He doesn't have ESPN and his, he doesn't have anybody with deep pockets, funding and stuff. He's not like the dude from that book on Joe Rogan. What was his name? With the Chaos book that had, 20 plus years to write a whole book. Great book, but still, it's difficult to be for yourself writer. So just throw some love that guy's way.
Yeah, and I know, guys. I know what you're saying, guys. I can't make a living off tearing another person down, even though Ali's a shitbag. It's not about tearing him down, because that's what Ali wants everyone to feel like he's getting torn down. It's about you've done some shady shit, and now you're in charge of other people's careers. Like, they need to know that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, if you've seen like the countless stories of like NBA, NFL, and other pro players having managers steal their money. Like, I'm not saying this is what's happening here. If those guys' backgrounds have been exposed, maybe those guys get safe from that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I know what God's is saying, but I just don't think that's really what's happening here. And Fred, you're muted.
I fucking agree too, but that is their job.
Yeah.
It's to snoop around and be nosy and fuck up your shit. Like, if you're hiding a skeleton, it's little snoopy ass journalist's job to pull that fucking skeleton out and expose you.
Shit, I was real journalist. I
was in the investigative department when I was in it, and you are not liked. I was one of the most hated people when I was working. So
right. That's kind of your gig, is to to fucking rain on people's parade.
Yeah, you know how many places I was banned from?
Yeah. Oh shit, I would have fucking banned you, you little fucking. You're not allowed to come in here either, cocksucker.
Shit. All right, y'all. That's gonna do it for us tonight. Well, on that note, y'all have a wonderful night. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Liam, Gods, Mateo, MDP was hanging out. Ashley, the MMA, make sure you guys follow her on Twitter and listen and watch her show or listen to her show. Otis always bring in the shit that I can't remember. Appreciate that. Joey Tremendous making a few little. Hey, show us the ocean since you already stepped out of your fucking van, dude.
That's what I was gonna do.
Oh, okay.
Nice little view for you guys.
There you go. And who else?
In the show.
Seriously, that's fucking dope. Tyler, George, appreciate you, Christian, early in the show. Everyone that tuned in, you guys are the shit. We appreciate the fuck out of all you guys. Jeremiah, Kairos, everybody. All right, catch you guys next week. Enjoy the event. Stay safe. COVID's getting crazier, and it's not getting any better anytime soon. So take care of yourselves, and you take care of each other, everybody else. Night. And good night.